Okay, so just kind of hopped on here real quick. We're seeing if this um, goes live here for a second. Yep, looks like it is. See how the sound? Yep, sounds working fine. Okay, so I wanted to start going through this notebook, these notebooks here of cards. I had waited. I was trying to get the larger sized sleeves. I had ordered them after we bought this because this older stuff with the 50, I think it's 51 through 56, is all a little bit bigger. It kind of barely sticks out of the top of a top loader. So there's probably some top loaders you can order that are a little better. I went through here already and pulled some of the better ones out, I guess. You know, just going through it before I decided I wanted to start going through. And I started realizing there were duplicates in it and there were, you know, some Hall of Famers in here and stuff like that. So I figured I'll just go ahead and start digging through this and pulling the cards out because I kind of want to, I kind of see what's all in here. So we've got stuff from the early 50s in here. Obviously, we're going to take everything out of the binder. So I should have enough sleeves and everything like that to be able to sleeve everything up. Buddy Rosar. Yep, and that's going to be a Bowman card from like 50, maybe 49, something like that. But I have some regular size sleeves for this kind of stuff. That, I got one open over here already. That we're going to go ahead and go through that. But I just thought it'd be cool to kind of go through here and see what all we got. And I really wanted to start looking through. So what I decided to do with these cards is I'm basically going to keep one of everything. And then if I have duplicates of something, I'm going to sell the duplicates. But I'm going to try to build as many of these sets as I possibly can. And all I'm really doing is going through here, and I'm going to be top loading and sleeving everything. But I'll show you guys every card that I come to. Apparently not great at sleeving up, but we can pull them out here real quick, and then we're just kind of going through them. What's everybody up to? I don't know if anybody else is in here. I mean, I am, but that's fine. We got Hank Bow Wow Arft, and you can see, I mean, the condition on these they're not terrible, but they got creases across them. The corners definitely are not great. But, you know, I kind of enjoy this stuff, so I'm cool with it. All right, so we've got that. On top of this, I mean, we're going to get all these out. What we'll probably do is we'll probably just go through and sleeve up a bunch of them. Then I'll worry about top load them later. We got Stan Lapota. A couple of, you know, just these older ones. These are the Bowman. I think these are 49. Yeah, 49 Bowman on that. So, like I said, we're going to end up keeping, you know, pretty much one of everything. And then when we start getting into it a little more, I'm going to be under about an hour going through some stuff, and we'll do a few more. Right now, I'm just sleeving things up of what we pull out here. But yeah, I had purchased this. Somebody was selling this stuff at an estate sale, and I told them I would take a look at it. And you know, I'd let them know, hey, I'll take a look at the stuff, get kind of idea what it was worth, and they didn't want to fool with that, and so they just set their own price on stuff, and so I ended up just buying the whole collection from them, kind of sight unseen. I didn't really go through it much, other than I saw the volume that was in there. I don't know why I just sleeved or top loaded that one up. I was just sleeving them for a moment, but so what you can kind of see, so we've got that stuff, and then we start getting into, you know, a little bit later stuff in here, like the 56, 57. I've got 54, 56, 57, 58, and 59 all kind of mixed in here. And what I'm excited about is some of the, you know, we got dupes of some of this, but when you get back into some of these kind of things, like, I don't know, let's see if any, some of these will have 2 cards in them. It'll be the same card, but it'll be like you'll have that one. Now, of course, none of those have 2 in them. But basically, I want to get them out of the binders and into some protection on here. So that's really all I'm doing. I'm just going to go through here and just kind of pull them out of there. I thought you guys might want to see it when we're doing it. I'm not necessarily the best angle to do this, but, you know, I may just go through and pull them all out, and then I'll sleeve them up and do all that kind of stuff first. But like you can see, they're definitely not in the best condition of a card as you would expect on some of these. And when you get into them, you can see that some of them are, hey Barry, how we doing? You can see that some of them are in definitely rough shape. And later on, we start going through, you can see some of them got pen on them. Where this guy, who this would have been his cards when he was a kid. This guy would scratch out the team, like if they got traded or something like that. Yeah, I was very excited to see this vintage stuff. I don't come across, especially this amount of vintage. I'll be honest with you, most of the good players were kind of already pulled out of here. Like there's not a lot of Hank Aaron or, Willie Mays or anything like that, other than like on team checklists and stuff. And I've kind of thumbed through it all a little bit, and I've pulled out some of the better ones. I can show you some of the better ones that I pulled out, and so you can see what we're kind of working with. There's no mantles in here. I wish there were, but like a Milwaukee Braves team card, so this is kind of, that's probably the best one of the bunch that I would say that I pulled out. This Clemente, which is a beautiful card. I mean, it's obviously off center, but we pulled out a few good ones so far. But you can see, like I was saying, this Don Newcomb card, you can see where he wrote Cincinnati on here, and you can see where he scratched out Brooklyn Dodgers, stuff like that. And then we get to there's the Yankees team card. Yeah, it is. I mean, I was excited. You see this little corner here. I was excited to find this stuff. I don't find something in this amount of volume out in the wild too often. But like I said, I mean, this Larry Doby, same thing. We got it right here. So I was excited to come across this stuff, and I wanted to get through it. Like that Mizorowski card here is very blurry. That's not my phone. That's the card itself, but it's still a gorgeous card. Just out of focus. But still, I mean, I'm going to keep all of these. So there's a Ted Williams card. That's one of the ones that I more enjoy having. And you can see like here, that was the guy's name, was Jim. And that's written on the card, not on the not on the top loader. But that's the Peta card. I mean, it'd be a nice card, little corner damage there. So, I mean, I've kind of pulled out, like I said, some of the better ones. There's still some Hall of Famers in here and stuff like that. That Milwaukee Braves card. And so what I'm going to do is, when you get into it, like some of these I'll have. That Hoyt Wilhelm, I got two of them. That's the lesser condition of the two. So I'll just sell that one. And then same thing with this Musial. Like that is the lesser condition of the Musial. You can see where I had it stuck to some cardboard. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to Kurt card care some of this stuff on here. I don't necessarily know if that works or not. As far as getting this cardboard off the back, but I'm going to give it a try. But you can see, I mean, there were two of those Larry Doby cards in there. You can see some of this stuff is just nice to have. And I think it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a collection that I want to keep. So if I can clean them up a little bit just to keep them, then that's what I'm going to try to do. But like this poor Nellie Fox was stuck on the front here. It's got some glue over here. So it was a little rough. Like this Al Kaline's a nice card. And it's like, oh yeah, that's really pretty. But you can see that it is off center on the sides, on the top, but it is a really pretty card. You can just see a little top. But that one's not too bad. That's one of the better ones. Yeah, like I said, I have there's some Hall of Famers in here, and there's some good name players. The biggest card that I had the Clemente that I showed you guys. There's another one of those Foxes. And these were kind of ones that I've already pulled out. Like I said, there's still Hall of Famers in here that I'm going to get to. But, it was just, I was excited to get these cards. You can see, some of them are in rough shape, and some of them are in somewhat better shape. And like these Gil Hodges, there was several of those. And this one, the way he did it in these binders is if there are duplicates, the card that's in the front is the one that's generally in better condition or better shape. And then the ones that are behind it are, sequentially worse shape. So like this Gil Hodges was in front, and then it had these other Gil Hodges back behind it. And it just went from better to worst. So that's how I'm kind of going to judge a little bit. Like there's Don Zimmer, two of those were in there. You got the Cleveland Indians card here. It's got Feller in there. So, I mean, there's some good stuff in here that I was excited to pull out. Especially buying this kind of sight unseen and not really knowing what all was in here. It was some good stuff. There is one card. I don't know if I have it with me or not. Yeah, I think I do. It's Herb Score. So I tried to pull out, but like I was saying about the Musial, see this one's in a little better shape than the other one with all the, but it's still got a, you can see that right there. Yeah. And this poor Yogi Berra didn't quite make it. But yeah, I just figured I'd go through this stuff and I'd hop on here for about an hour and while I was going through it. But this is kind of some of the better stuff that I've already pulled out. That Brooks Robinson's a solid card. I mean, it's rough on the edges, and it's one of the white backs, but it's still a pretty card. Just the photography in this is gorgeous to see. I think this Frank Robinson's nice, but it's definitely off center. Very right heavy. But I mean, some of this stuff I may send to get graded. The backs aren't too rough on them unless they were stuck to something. Like this Roy Campanella had some issues for sure right here, but it's still a pretty card. And then we got the Al K line. So Don Drysdale, Nellie Fox, and then let's see. I'll show you the one that breaks my heart the most for you couple guys that are on here. There is one that some of you guys might have already seen it, and I've got it on the cover on here. But yeah, so these are some of the other better ones that I pulled out too. If I can get my hands around them. There we go. Okay. Here, hold on one second. Get rid of this modern stuff that I got mixed in here with them. There we go. All right. So, pulled out the Nellie Fox and Robin Roberts, Elston Howard. See, there's the Yankees card, and like I was saying, or the Giants card. And like I was saying, he wrote, let's try to get that a little more in focus for you. But he wrote San Francisco on here. And then scratched out a few names of people that were traded. Trying to get it. There you go. Scratched out a few names of people that were traded and things like that. So I'm going to see if the Kurtz card care is going to clean that stuff up. There were 2 Don Larsons in there. It's not too shabby. But like the Yankees card, I wish we had enough. Now he did write World Champs on there. If you can see that. He did write World Champs on there. That's what that says. And we circled Casey Stengel and circled him in the card itself. If you can see that. So that kind of stuff. Oh, there was 3 Don Larsons in there. I apologize. Another Gil Hodges. And you can see these are a little bit longer, so that's what I had to wait on the longer sleeves for. And they just barely fit into a top loader. So, but it just sticks out just a little bit. But they're not too bad. I mean, they're not in rough. I wouldn't give most of them like this. This poor Elston Howard here has a big crease down the center of it. I don't think you can see it very well, but it runs right down through there. And this Ernie Banks is a gorgeous card, but it's not in great shape. You can see that crease right there coming down the center. And you can see it's got some edge wear up here in the top corner. But I mean, all in all, for what I paid for it and, what's in this collection, but you can see there's stuff like that there's several cards that have that on there. Yeah, well, what it was is it is a monster because it breaks my heart. But what it was is like the guy did it when he was a kid. Like these are his cards as a kid, and yeah, I may also be a monster as well. But the guy wrote it on there as a kid, so I mean I can kind of forgive him. I mean people stuck him in bikes and stuck them, just did everything with them. So these were some other ones that were in there. As you guys know, I'll keep any Dale Murphy card that I run across. He had some newer stuff in there, and so this was him with the newer stuff. And then as everyone knows, I'm a huge fan of the Rusty K. That is a Rusty K rookie card. And then these were just some other ones that were stuck kind of in the top and they were bent over on the edges right here. So I took them out just to try to save them a little bit. There's a crease running down the center of that one and that one from where they were folded up. And then there's a Another 19. So this is the one that breaks my heart of all the cards. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just saying. But this is the one that really really hurts a lot. Is that he, and I mean he scratched it out a lot. Scratched out the team, scratched out whatever he wrote here, wrote retired on the card, and then on the back we've wrote something here and scratched it out and then wrote retired right there. So this one, yes, this is a monster. That this hurt a lot. That one did. But I'm hoping that I can take some of these other ones that are written on and drawn on that are of lesser value, and I can try to give them a go and see if I can teach myself how to clean these up enough to where I can get this card cleaned up and keep it in my collection. I know I won't ever be able to get the indentions out of there, and especially all those scratch marks, but I would like to at least be able to get the ink out of there since I'm just going to keep these cards. But yeah, Edith Slaughter, Phil Rizzuto. So I mean, those are some of the better ones that I got in there. And like I said, I'm just pulling these out and getting them out of the binder, get them sleeved up. So I figured I'd pop on here and you guys can hang out while I sleeve some stuff or talk about some cards. Or I mean, they're not terrible shape. I don't know that I would grade hardly any of these. I might like the Roberto Clemente just because I want that to be, you know, in my collection and safe. But you can see, so when you get the bigger sleeves, they barely fit into a regular top loader. I should probably get a 55 point for these, but I can get them in there. And you can see it sticks out the top a little bit. But I figure I'll get all these sleeved up, start building sets out of them, and then see what I can do with them. I should probably keep them in order. That'd probably be a good idea of what I was doing. But these were kind of, I hadn't seen the vintage sleeves like that, or the pages like that hold 8 for the bigger cards, because like I've said many times before, I am lacking, not any longer, but I am lacking in a vintage collection. So I figured this will definitely help me with that. But I know building these sets out, I'm still going to have to find like the Mantles and the Marises and the Willie Mazes and all that stuff, because those cards were not in here. And you can see in the pages when you start going through it, you can see in the pages that somebody at some point had pulled those cards out because they were missing in the slots. And it wasn't like when I used to sleeve up cards and put them in binders like that, I would leave a space open for that player, but you can tell this person didn't leave the space open to try to find that card. It just, they had the card and it was gone, which is fine. I mean, in all honesty, I paid like $300 for everything. And so, you know, it's worth it to me just to have an opportunity to sit here and go through and to look at all these cards and to enjoy, you know, having them in my home, in my collection, and building up my collection. Condition wise and everything, if I were to sell them and piece them out on eBay, I mean, especially with some of the pen writing on stuff like that, it would make it a tough sell. You know, probably $600-700. Maybe, I don't entirely know how many duplicates there are on some stuff. Like when I start digging through there are some duplicates, where there's 4 or 5 jammed in behind. Oh, this is underneath. See, this is me not knowing. And like they say, knowing is half the battle, and I'm losing the battle here. Come on now. You can do it. Hey, there we go. We're just going to pull these guys right out of here all at once. If you guys want to see any card or want to see any player or want to know anything about a guy, if I see somebody that's a Hall of Famer, I'll shout it out, or that I know is a Hall of Famer. I could pass somebody easily that is a Hall of Famer. Billy Herman up here. You can see Billy Herman. I know he is a Hall of Famer. But I think that's the only one that we've come across so far. Yeah, I know. You know, a lot of Ray Murrays. I know you're excited. I got a Billy Pierce right here, Chicago White Sox fame. So, I don't know if I've seen any Bobby Richardsons. If I do, I'll let you know. I don't recall seeing one. But and I mean, I won't top load it. I don't mind not top loading. I can just sleeve them up and set them over here in a pile. But yeah, I don't think that I've seen any Bobby Richardsons, but I'll keep an eye out for it. I tried to go through already, and I don't want you to think I'm like pulling Hall of Famers off the top of my head so far. I've kind of already gone through, and guys that I thought might possibly be a Hall of Famer, I went ahead and looked it up just to make sure. So like Billy Herman up there, I had to double check that one, but I think he's the only one in the 54. Like this is 54 tops. I think he's the only one in the. I don't know. Is this 54? No, this is 54. See, and I'm sleeving it up, or I'm top loading it again. Yeah, this is the 54. Raymond Murray, good old Raymond Murray, catcher, Philadelphia Athletics. What I liked about this stuff when I was going through it, and I thought it was pretty cool, is let me see. I think I can skip to it, and we can take a look at it. Is I wish they still kind of did these cards, but right here we've got the umpire cards. Back here we got a couple of the umpire cards, so I thought that was pretty neat. I actually, one of my aunt's friends he's retired now, but he used to be. There's another Billy Pierce. He used to be a major league umpire for 30 years, and I'm gonna see if he wants those cards. He may know the guys. I don't know. Maybe not. So, but he's retired from the umpire biz. So I know it's not all that exciting. It just, I was going to do it. I was going to be sitting here sleeving it anyway. I figured why not pop on a live and do it for you guys. And that way you can take a look at it. I'll skip back, and I know back here is where some better stuff's going to be. Let's see. We'll go to we got Corky Valentine. Let's pull out some Hall of Famers just so we can get them out of here. That's what I'll do first. See what you can see. All right. What I was saying is, so some of these, like talking condition wise, like this poor guy had a rough life. Elvin Tappy of Chicago Cub fame. Like that is, somebody got that one. Yeah, I don't know that it's exciting, but I'm having fun doing it, so that's all that matters. I couldn't even tell you what number card that is, but I can probably Google it. Yeah, that guy definitely that card has seen better days for sure. Not that this person's a monster. he just maybe a rat got a hold of that one. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna put this one at a top loader just because I wouldn't want any further damage to come to it. I just think it's cool to see this stuff. Like when I came across it, I was like, oh man, this will be exciting. Oh yeah, Warren Giles, president of the National League. He is a Hall of Famer as well. Most of the, yeah, that's true. Warren Giles, National League Hall of Famer. I don't know that this is a premium card out there that people are searching for, but I will go ahead and top load the Hall of Famers. And there's a couple coaches cards in there that I know are Hall of Famers as well. So we'll set some Hall of Famers aside. If anyone sees a Hall of Famer that I missed, I know these team cards are probably pretty valuable too as well. We got the Cubs team card. Let's see who's going to be on that. That's exciting. Ernie Banks, probably. Yep, Ernie Banks. Yep, we can zoom in on that. You guys can see it. Ernie Banks right there. So, I mean, stuff like that. I do have those players. Warno. I mean, so I do have some of those bigger name players on the team cards like this, but not necessarily individually. I had that one Ernie Banks card that I showed you guys that had some creases in it and some serious damage. No, I don't think I have any Ron Santo. I got Ron Negre. And like I think a lot of these guys would be cool to do videos on this, like tales of baseball players past type stuff that I do every once in a while. I think a lot of these guys would be cool to do that on. But we're just gonna go through here. I think I'll go through and pick out if I see any Hall of Famers. See what you can see. Jack Harshman up here had apparently he got traded from the White Sox to the Orioles. So we scratched that out. But like this card would be one that I would try to Kurt's Card Care one and clean that ink off and then see how it turns out. And if I can figure out how to do it well enough, I'll then eventually get the gall to try the Jackie Robinson card. Same thing with Jim Hegan here. Played with the Celtics. Gene Conley. How far back was that one? Oh, there it is right there. I'll pull it out because he's a Brave. Oh, let me see this real quick. Hector Lopez. Oh, no, I thought Hector Lopez had two of them in there, but he did not. I haven't come across one in here that has, there it is, that has the two cards behind it. It's mainly the 59 tops that had duplicate cards. And some of the 58 as well, I think. Oh, no, that's the wrong sleeve. So you guys just let me put whatever sleeve on there. But I had to order these from eBay, the bigger sleeves, to be able to fit these cards in there. I probably should have looked to see if they had like vintage top loaders, but the cards aren't quite sticking out of there. So there we go. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what else we got. I mean, these are just pretty cards just to begin with. I thought I passed somebody a second ago and I went back on it. There's another team card of the Philadelphia Phillies. Ah, see, there we go. That's the first one. That's got two. And like I said, well, see, you can kind of see the print difference on it. Like this is a much more vibrant print color. Let's see if I can get them. As far as the cards go, a much darker, richer tone, but it's also got a crease going right down the middle. So condition-wise, actually the one behind it is probably better condition-wise because it doesn't have the crease, but the corners are pretty rough. And they are both white back. Yeah, you should have told me. I know. You just let me do it. You didn't say anything. You're like, oh, I'm going to see how this plays out. But yeah, so I would say print quality-wise, this one's better, but overall condition, that one's better. Let's see, who do we got on the Phillies? Robin Roberts. Kurt Simmons. Yeah, okay. We'll sleeve that up in a little bit. But yeah, so I guess some of these do have the duplicates behind them. Hal Smith apparently got traded from the Orioles to the Kansas City Royals. Ray Jablonski. Third base, Cincinnati Redlegs. That's sliding in. That's a pretty cool picture. All right, so Cleveland Indians. Let's see. Let's see if this has got Feller on it. Let's see. Yep, Bob Feller. Cleveland Indians. Hey there, Warren. You got Johnny O'Brien's? Oh, that's cool. See, I need to do a lot more of TTM, but I don't. And I was mad at myself yesterday, or not yesterday, a couple days ago. I was busy, and Larry Parrish came into work, and I meant to ask him if I could give him some cards to sign for me, and I got busy with a bunch of other stuff and did not get a chance to ask him. There's Johnny Cucks, who really nobody wants to be, but man, look at that face. Ooh. I mean, not that I'm anybody's pretty thing, but that was not a good face. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying that is not a good face that I would want on my baseball card. Or nor that name. But see, we got a question mark up here on Bill. Wait, I think he's got 2 of them. Let's see. Oh, we may have 3 of them. Oh, man. Okay, let's see. Uno. Oh, we got 4. Oh, so there's 4 of these. We got one with a question mark. We got one that's not too terrible, I don't think. Back's not too bad. Oh, used to rent from him? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll make sure I remind him of that. That one's definitely rough. This is what we call a well-loved card. This one was well-loved and greatly appreciated. And then this one's not too bad, except for these corners down here. But there's 4 of them. And see, that's on some of this, that's what happens. There's like 4 or 5 of them in there. And Ray Jablonski's got 2. So that was part of the thing I didn't realize that there were multiples in this until I started going through it. But like I said, usually the one on top, not always, because that one had a question mark on it, but usually the one on top is the one in better condition, and the one that was in worse condition he put behind everything. But that's what made me excited when I started going through it. I was like, oh man, there's multiples of these cards. So it'll give me a good opportunity to build out the best. Oh, that, I don't think it came like that. I'm pretty sure somebody wanted the Cincinnati Redlegs mascot logo and decided they were going to keep it for themselves. So, sorry, Cincinnati fans. I guess it'll be me because that was the only one of those. So, like I said, I'm keeping at least one of each card in here. So, I don't see any other Hall of Famers on this page. But on here, we got the Baltimore Orioles. Let's see who we got on here. Oh, I don't see anybody. I think like, no. I would have thought like Brooks Robinson, but I don't know if this was here before him. I don't know. We'll have to look at that a little more carefully. Sorry. All right, let's see here. But yeah, you can see up here, like on this card, I'll bring it down a little closer. Like one of these cards is what I'm going to try with the Kurt's Card Care stuff and see if I can get rid of that. This guy went from the Cubs to the Cardinals and from the Cardinals to the Giants. So he had to be going through these multiple years and just scratching stuff off. 6 foot, 180 pounds. Throws left. Bats left and right. Ooh, fancy. September 15th, 1925. Yeah, but I'm going to try to get these cleaned up and see what I can do. And then if I feel confident enough, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to... There are multiples of these here. I'm going to attempt that Jackie Robinson. That's it. Well, I'll do that on camera. Ooh, that one's rough too. Bob Lennon. Good old Bob Lennon. But there's 3 of those in there. So, I mean, just for the fact that you get 3 vintage cards in one sleeve on this. And now we've come across a couple of them that have that. D. Fondy of Fondy Auto Sales fame. I don't know. I just made that up. I don't think that's true. I think that's British propaganda. There's a Red Sox card. It's going to have Ted Williams in it, if I'm not mistaken. This is a very interesting. This is like a orderly at a like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type thing outfit over here. These guys are orderlies at a loony bin. That card probably has some value to it for sure. To a Red Sox fan. There's a Jim Brady card. That's always fun. Jim Brady. There you go. Good old Jim Brady. 6'2", 185 pounds. February 2nd, 1936. Don't go stealing people's identities based on the information I'm giving you. It's personal information. If anyone sees me passing a Hall of Famer, you can definitely shout it out and I'll pull it out of there. Ooh, that Washington Nationals card is rough. There's a lot of Billy Pearson here, by the way, as well. I see a red showing nice coming up, so that's going to be a Hall of Famer. Whew, that one's rough. Washington Nationals. That looked like it was thrown in somebody's front yard. It's the beauty of card collecting. I've got a few of those myself. There's Spook Jacobs, second baseman, Kansas City Royals. We've got Wally Post down here that got traded from the Cincinnati Redlegs to the Phillies. There's old Billy Pierce again. And then there's Frank Torrey, Milwaukee Braves. Johnny Padres. I don't think anybody on here is a Hall of... Oh, red showing ice. Oh, there's a couple of those. That's cool. I'll take multiples of Hall of Famers any day. Let's see how many we got. I don't know. I'll keep an eye out for it. Let me know which ones you want me to keep an eye out for, Barry, and I'll especially if I've got multiples of them. I got no problem sending you any of them. But there's 4 of these. This one's been drawn on, but that's common here. But he's in the back. Braves went from the Cardinals to the Braves. Okay, so I'll keep an eye out for those 2 that you asked about. Johnny Padres is nice. Right now I'm just pulling out the Hall of Famers. That's probably more entertaining than just pulling out random cards over and over again. Bob Rush. I will pull out a Lou Burdette, though. Oh. Like the Braves ones I'm definitely keeping. Is there multiples of these? Nope, just one. There's Lou Burdette. That's a nice card. But, I mean, normally I'd be like, ooh, I'm going to keep that one for my collection. But I'm keeping all these for my collection except for the multiples. So when I see multiples, I get excited because I'm like, oh, I could probably sell that. So you can see, all right, so on Chico here, you can see kind of when people are talking about cards, and there's a bunch of Chicos. But, so this one on here is more of an orange print, whereas that one's more of a red. So it's kind of a personal preference on some of this, but there were 2 that were the orange and 3 that had the more deeper red color to it. And you can see on the back sometimes they're a little more gray, sometimes they're a little more white. So there's the gray back and the white back. Let me see if I got yeah. But yeah, some of that stuff is just a personal preference, whether you like the orangish or whether you like the more red. But you can see the difference between the 2. I just pulled those cards out to show you guys. But there were 5 of those. That's pretty cool. Sherm Lawler. Some of these names. Oh, there's Larry Doby. That's definitely coming out of there. Wish there was multiples of that. Let's see. Multiple. And, yep, 2. And it's going to be 1 red and 1 kind of orangish. On the White Sox. Yeah, that's cool. I like it when I pull the Hall of Famers out of there and there's extra. Let's see. Johnny Klipstein. Herschel Freeman. See, these are like Herschel spelled like that. Hershell is not a common name in these days. Let's see. There's a Bobby Thompson. You asked me about Bobby Richardson, though, didn't you? There's a Bob Shantz. Done that before. Shantz, do it again. Ha ha. Woo. Sorry. Art Ditmar. I know you guys are rolling on the floor at my hysterical jokes. Dale Mitchell. Foster Castleman. Danny O'Connell. Jim Greengrass. That's where the green grass grows. Chet Nichols. No. If you guys see anybody, you want me to pop out of here. There's Kurt Simmons. I always like Kurt Simmons. No relation. But yeah, he was a really good pitcher for the Phillies. And he had a, I mean, if you ever look him up, he had a quite a history as well. Let's see. Johnny Schmitz, Vic Wirtz. Oh yeah, we're pulling out a Vic Wirtz card just because of the lone historical fact of Vic Wirtz. We're pulling the card out. There we go. Vic Wirtz. Bobby Shantz just turned 100. Oh, and he's still, that's cool. Yeah, I was thinking about that to see if any of these guys are still alive and are still signing autographs. It'd probably be few and far between, but there's a Hoyt Wilhelm. Are there multiples of that or just one? I think it's just one. Yep, just one. There's another Hall of Famer for you. Right there. Let's see. Because if that's the case, I mean, I would get some of these signed as well. They can go on there with the ink mark that's already on them. Joe Adcock, taking that out. Ooh, there's more than one, I think. Nice. Yep, we got two of them. First base, Milwaukee Braves. Hit 15 home runs that year. And 264. That's not too bad. There's some sweet glasses there on Jim Constanti. Am I saying that right? Rocky Bridges. Driven over a few of those. Let's see. Rube Walker. Rube Walker's always, he's a funny guy. Rube Walker. Rube Walker. We'll keep those. There are a few knuckleballers floating around in here for sure. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one, which is probably going to be more of the 59, I think is in this next one. Let's see. I said I'd stay on here for about an hour, so I'll stay on until about 11, and then I got to hit the hay. All right, let's see what we got here. Move that. Okay. Dick Donovan. And this is back to the 9 card holders because the cards are the proper size. So these I can put into the... I can get back to my regular sleeves there, Matt, without it being an issue. You don't have to holler at me. Baltimore Orioles. There we go. Let's see. Oh, there you go. There's one. Oh, there's more than one. You want me to send you one of these, Barry? Probably this guy, because this one's in rougher shape. Hey there. Hey there, oh there, hi there. Welcome. Barry, let me know if you want one of these. Is this who you were asking me about? Let me scroll back, make sure. You know, I don't read very well half the time. Yeah, okay. There you go. Well, I'll set those to the side. Let's see. If anybody sees any other Hall of Famers, just shout it out. We'll go with this directing the power. But you can see on these, there's a lot more of the multiples behind it. We got Lemon. I mean, I guess that's technically Hall of Famer. We can count that. Okay. Well, I'll get your info and I'll send you one of them. And if we run across any other ones, I'll just send you all of them. Okay. Let's see. I like the team cards. Ted Kazansky. Ooh, that's a close name right there. I don't want to shout that out too loud. There's the White Sox card. That's yeah, I had bought this, and you can see the guy went ahead and marked off what he had on here. I bought this at an estate sale the other day, and I started going through it, and I thought it'd be fun just to go through here. I'm going to start sleeving them up and putting them in top loaders, and I thought it'd be fun just to go through here, you know, kind of live and see what all we got in here. We've pulled out some decent ones so far. You know, we've got some pretty solid cards. No major one. Like I didn't have any mantles. I mean, there is a Jackie Robinson, but it's got some issues. But some of these team cards are nice. And I mean, the cards themselves are just beautiful. And I think when I was going through this, there's Cincinnati card. Like I said, the one in the front's usually going to be the one in better condition. And the one behind is going to be the one in rougher shape, like missing a whole corner, that kind of stuff. But I think going through it, I have just about a full set of the rookie stars from 59. Close to it. I think there's one or two that are missing. But I mean, those are just some pretty cards to have. There's not really any big rookies in here, but they're still pretty cool. I mean, just the way those cards look, there's some pretty cards. So I thought those are pretty neat to have. But most of them are here. Whoever 134 is, I don't have that one. But other than that, I think that's about it. Let's see. We've got some hurlers, ace hurlers. Oh man, there's a couple of those in there too. One, I don't know why I just threw that down on the corner like that, but there's two of them in there. With Billy Pierce and Robin Roberts. We're just kind of going through and picking out some Hall of Famers right now, or if anyone sees any big rookies or anything. I'm sure some of these are rookies. I'll have to go through it and go through my list of rookies. If it's not a big rookie, see, I can feel like in here, there's several of these. And that's what I like to see. I can't even get those out of there. There's 5 of them in there. Is it 5? Yeah. Nope, 4. But see, that's what I like to see is multiples. And a lot of this one has multiples, this one has multiples. So, and you can see kind of the print difference on some of this. Some of it's a whiter back and some of it's the gray back. But I mean, when there's 4 in there, like if I'm building out the set, I'm going to pick out whatever one is the best condition, and then I'm going to sell the other 3. Or, you know, giving to some kids or something. The problem with this stuff is giving it to the kids is that they don't know any of these players. So the packs that I give the kids that I make, it's all newer stuff, people that they're used to seeing. I don't know that they're going to want any. That maybe their dads would or granddads would. But you can see up in here, there's multiples of these cards. There's 4 of those in there, 4 of those. So when I start going through it, Ozzie Virgil. I don't know if that's the same Ozzie Virgil. Played for the Braves. I don't think so. Because that'd be very old. But yeah, so I don't think the kids are going to want any of that I give when I give away the packs of cards and stuff like that. But Vic Power. I wonder if Vic Power had any power. Let's see. A little bit. 14 home runs, 16, 16, 19 was his highest. At least up to this point. And 53, it looks like. All right. There's a Don Zimmer. We'll get Don Zimmer out of there. See on this bit. No, he's on the next page. Oh, that's Ozzie Virgil's dad? Okay. That makes sense. And it is funny going through here. Like you see a lot of the players that it's their dad or grandpa or something like that. There's a Don Zimmer. That one's pretty cool. Take Don Zimmer. Just leave him up. Richie Ashburn, I think is, oh, and Billy Martin. How about that? There's a Billy Martin up there. Oh, there's a couple Billy Martins up there. Let's see, 2 of them? 3 of them. There's 3 Billy Martins. It's not bad at all. Take 3 Billy Martins for sure. But the second one is probably the one in better condition. So that's the one we'll keep. Richie Ashburn, just one of those. I don't know if I can get him out of there. Come on, buddy. There we go. It's a Hall of Famer for you. Chicago team card. Just one. I was trying to feel if there were extra ones in there. But you can see, let me see if I can show you a little bit. You can see kind of the white back versus the gray back on that difference. There's the Cubs team card. And it looks like he did not check anybody off. That's good. I mean, it's cool when people kind of check it off and you can see that the card's been loved and used and someone fully appreciated it. But, yeah. I think that's pretty cool. Don Newcomb. We'll take a Don Newcomb out of here. Oh, there's 2 Don Newcombs. Come on, buddy. You got it. There we go. Ooh, that one's got a crease right here. And this one's got some glossy, where the gloss came off, kind of scuff marks on it. But 2 Don Newcombs is not bad at all. Frank House. Another Rocky Bridges. Ken Boyer. I mean, they're not bad. They're, even the regular players still at least sell for something. But like I said, all these we're going to sleeve up and we're going to build out whatever set we can build up out of it. There's not any of the huge guys in here, which is going to be a problem when I'm trying to fill out this collection. There's not going to be a lot. I'm going to have to try to hunt down the expensive cards, but I'm probably going to do that in a low condition just to be able to build out the set. And if I can get them raw, that would be great too, but I don't want something fake. Bob Mabe. So, yeah, I like seeing it, Barry. I mean, I was really excited because, like I said, I kind of bought them sight unseen. Really, when the person sold them to me, all I saw was the volume of cards, and they had told me that they were kind of older cards. And so I didn't really see what the older cards were until, I'll take Kurt Simmons out of there, until oh man, there's a couple of those. Until I got in here and started looking at it, I was like, oh man, these are really cool. And like I've said before, my vintage is very lacking. So there's a Kurt Simmons. You see it kind of got a little print defect right there where that one came up with a white speck on it, and then the other ones did not. There's 4 of those in there. This has got a little bubble print thing up there kind of. But I mean, I like that. The thing that really made me excited when I started going through it is realizing that there were multiples of stuff in here. There's a Whitey Herzog. We'll get old Whitey Herzog out of there. I feel like I want to take Joe Nuxall out of there too, but I'll leave him up there for now. There's a Whitey Herzog. It's not too bad. Speaking of Hall of Famers, it's halfway decent shape. I mean, some of this I may get graded, but I don't think any of this is going to get more than a 2. But if it's something that I want to keep, then there's a Senator's card. Now you can see here he went and checked off everything he had. So what I should be doing is going through here and be like, oh, where is this guy? Where is this guy? I think I already pulled the Frank Robinson out of here. But like I said, when I was going through it, I can see where there were some spots that were left open. There's a lot of Whitey Lockman right there. Oh, that's a Hall of Fame card right there. Both of these guys are on Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Oh, we're taking Mo out of here. The prankster. Yep. I saw some video on him not too long ago about all his pranks and everything he used to do. There's 3 of them in here. That one's not terrible. This one's got a crease down the side. And then a crease right there. But yeah, if you ever get a chance, I don't know, Barry, if you ever seen some of the videos of him or the stories of him, he was quite the little trickster, for sure. Dale Long. I don't think anybody else is a Hall of Famer. Although that Rocco card's pretty cool. May take that one out. Whammy Douglas. Whammy. There's another Bobby Thompson. Hamner. Granny Hamner. That's a name right there. Granny Hamner. Rocky Nelson. Good old Rocky Nelson. Bob Anderson. There's a Dodgers card. When I got to LA. LA Dodgers. Only one little mark right there. Yep. There's LA Dodgers. And the Cleveland Indians. I mean, these team cards sell for, pretty good money, especially if they got some Hall of Famers on there, or some superstars or something like that. And it's kind of sad that the Yankees ones were drawn on and written on, but I mean, they were the Yankees, love them or hate them. There's a Hall of Famer. This is when he got traded to the Braves. It's not bad. Ooh, that one's a little miscut. Wonder who the next card was there. But still, any card of a Hall of Famer is good to see. I'm happy we can see that. There's Frank Thomas. There's a Gene Conley. I know you'd asked about some of those earlier. There we go. There's two of those. Let's see. Jim Landis, Johnny Padres, and Vic Wertz. I'm definitely going to take those. Probably Al Dark, too. I'm going to take those out of there, even though I don't think either one of them are Hall of Famers. But still, they were great players, or at least entertaining ones. Oh man, there's two. I was like, man, there's a bunch in there, but it's 2 pages. There's not a bunch in here. I think we're running out of Hall of Famers here. I have a couple more loose pages to go through. Casey Stengel, that's a Hall of Famer. And there's 2 of those. 1, 2. Anybody else? Nope, I don't think Fred Haney's on the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I mean, I have plenty of cards. I mean, these were just some I was sorting through earlier. I've got plenty of cards, but the guy that I bought this collection from, he did have some stuff from the late 70s and early 80s. So I've got some, they're in pages, which I'll pull out some of the pages because there's some more 50s stuff in the pages. I'll pull those out. And then, yeah, there is some 70s and 80s stuff, which I really haven't gone through that yet. I think I did all these in order. Let's see. But yeah, you can see like some of these spots here were some of the better players. And when he kind of went through them. I mean, I probably need to binder these up or any. Let me see if we got any Hall of Famers in here. I'll do it like this. Move these guys out of the way. There we go. And we'll just do it like that. So, I mean, this whole collection like was about $300 for everything. So, I mean, I feel like it was definitely worth it. See if we come across any other Hall of Famers. George Kell. Let's see if he's got multiples of that. Feels like it. Yep, we got 2 of those. So, but yeah, so in this collection that I bought, I do have some 70s and 80s stuff. But most of that stuff, I'll tell you, was Phillies stuff. The guy was a Phillies fan. So most of the newer stuff that's in here was a Phillies fan. Okay, so on these, on the, I mean, I think it's there's the yellow and the white print on them. On the, what is this, 58 tops. So this is Tim Thompson. It's got the white print. And then you've got the yellow. I don't know what the print difference is on it or anything like that. And again, I don't know if it's a preference thing on which sells for more. I'm sure there is a difference. I haven't really looked it up to see, but you can see this one's one of the ones that was written on when he got traded from the White Sox to the Tigers. And that guy looks like kind of like Lurch a little bit. I don't mean that in a bad way. But yeah, you can see, so it got written on there. I wonder if he did it on the back too. Nope, not on this guy. But on some of them, he wrote on the back when they got traded also. But when I was going through the 80s and the 70s stuff, I was looking for like the Ozzie Smith rookie and, stuff like, because those years are on there. You can see Clint Courtney's the same way. We got a white one and a yellow one. But all those kind of bigger name rookies, they weren't in there. Joe Durham. So, you know, and that's the case with a lot of this stuff. A lot of the bigger names were out of it. There's an Aussie Virgil, but it's funny that this one has the two S's and the other one we had um, the Z's. Dick Schofield. I don't think he's a. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. Um, so, and then eventually I'll go back through here and I'll pull out the rookies and stuff like that. But this is just kind of fun to look at it all and see what's all in here. And like I said, all of this is going to get taken out at some point and sleeved up and put together. Right now, we're just pulling out the Hall of Famers. And if I see a rookie that I know is a rookie, I'll pull that out. But there's a Hall of Famer for you. Again, there's a couple of him. I could just make a whole 4 or 5 years of him. There's Haywood Sullivan. Let's see. I mean, these guys look like they could be brothers almost. Jim Bolger and Bill Verdon. This could be the same guy. Solly Hemus. Does that look different? Is this facing backwards? Oh, it's just miscut. Yeah, those two definitely had the top issues up here. You can see the cut difference on the two of them there, which is pretty common with this stuff. All right, let's see here. St. Louis Cardinals. I'm going to go about 12 more minutes of digging through this stuff, and then I'm going to get off of here. By then, I should be able to get through most of the Hall of Famers. There's St. Louis Cardinals. Let's see. Nobody on here. Oh, there's a Bill Mazeroski, though. That's a nice car. Oh, there's more than one. That's cool. Come on now. Nice. Two of those. And actually on this one, now cut-wise, this one's cut better. But condition-wise, that one's a better condition. It's just not as clean of a cut. Huh. All right. Mickey Vernon. Nope, I don't see anybody else on that one. White Sox card. We'll pull that off of there. So basically, I'm pulling out the team cards. Bob Turley. He was a good pitcher. Bob Turley was good for sure. I remember I did a report on the decade of the 50s on the Yankees years and years ago. And Bob Turley was one of the people that I focused on. Let's see. There's Granny Hamner again. Good old Granny Hamner. Rocky Bridges. We've seen a lot of these guys before. Not necessarily this year, but... Ooh, there's a Lou Burdette and Bobby Shantz. Get that out of there. See, those are just pretty. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Barry, what I'll do is I'm going to eventually, and I'll try to do it relatively soon, I'm going to eventually make a list of what all I've got and what I've got duplicates of. I can send it over to you. But if you see any that jump out off the top of your head, especially if you see any that people still sign or anything, just let me know. There's some Hall of Famers right there. Commissioners and league presidents. Whammy Douglas. Whammy. Chicago Cubs. I should pull out Joe Adcock too, but I'll go back and get him. Oh, come on. You can do it. There we go. I had them in order, so I'm trying to keep them in order on these pages. I went through and put them all in kind of in best order I could. Art Dittmer. No Hall of Famers on that. I mean, I could easily miss somebody, but I will have to go back, like I said, and go out and pull the rookies and stuff like that because I am not 100% sure who's a rookie and who's not on here. There are a few that I've seen. Baltimore Orioles. Vic Power traded to the Indians. Marv Grissom. No, none of these guys. There are a lot more team cards in here than I thought were in here. I know I'd pulled out there's Bobby Shantz. I know I had pulled out like the Braves and the Yankees and New York Giants and stuff kind of like that. But I didn't realize there was so many. There's another Bobby Thompson, Gene Conley. There's a Whitey Herzog. Get Whitey out of there. There's only one of those, but he has been scratched out from the Washington Senators. I don't know who he got traded to. And there's a big crease down the center right there as well. I don't know if you can see that. But I think obviously for the price I paid for it, I think it was a good deal. It is going to be, it already has been a decent amount of work. Kind of go through it, but let's see here. Joe J. Anybody? Oh, there we go. I know he is. Oh, there's more than one. That's always good. Two of those. Sporting Magazine, 58 All-Star. I don't think anybody else is. Yeah, Barry, I mean, I'll admit it is going to take a lot of work and a lot of time, and like I'm keeping, especially the good ones. So it's not like I'm going to make my money back on one or two cards, because those cards I would be keeping. You know, because I would love to have them in my collection. There's a Whitey Herzog. There's a lot of Whitey Herzogs. There might be two of them in here too. And a Gene Conley. Yeah, he's got a little scuffing going on there and a little crease here, but still pretty good card. And that's the thing with having the duplicates in there and having all that. I think it'll work out great, because then I can. There we go. Because then I can, sell the duplicates and kind of get some of my money back, or pretty much all of my money back if I get enough of them on there. There's Herb Score. We'll take Herb Score out, even though I don't think that. Oh, that's weird. So this is like a very thick cardboard feel, and this is very thin, and that is bent in half. Huh. That's pretty weird. There's another couple of those. So I have multiples of him. I can send you a couple of these, or one of each. But I'll try to, like I said, I'm going to go on here for, a few more minutes. There's Richie Ashburn. I'm going to go on here for a few more minutes, and then I'll get working on this kind of by myself. There's a Billy Martin up there too. Let's see, there was three or four Richie Ashburns. And you can see, so this is like that Bill Mazeroski card that I showed you. So this Richie Ashburn is in like super, super clear. You can see it. And then there's this one, which is just blurry on the print. You can see the difference between the two. That's not my camera difference. That's the card itself. So that's what happened with that Mazeroski card. It was, there's Dusty Rhodes, not the wrestler, but still Dusty Rhodes. Billy Martin, multiple or not? Nope, just one Billy Martin. And we have written something across the front there. Don't know what. But if I can figure out how to clean those, I certainly will. Yeah, I mean, I just think that this is fun to go through and to look at. There's Mo. We'll take Mo out of there. Just for my own enjoyment. But you can see kind of on him, so this color is like very vibrant, stands out, and that one's kind of dull and faded, and it's out of focus a little bit. But there you go. So you can see just on individual printing of the cards themselves, you can see just the difference in two cards that are on there. Let's see who we got on here. I mean, they're just pretty cards, and they're fun to have, and I'm not ever going to complain about adding vintage to my collection. And there are a few good ones in here. Like it's not all unknowns and no names. I pulled a decent amount of good players out of here, and I can feel this has got at least 4 in here. This has got 3. This has got 3. Bob Lemon can probably come out of there as well. I believe he is a Hall of Famer. And see, there's 3 Bob Lemons, but you can see on this. So this one is printed, you know, just kind of normal looking, and then that one's got a red line across it. Right underneath here, you can see that red line where it's not up on that one. And then same thing on that red line. You can see the color difference between the 3 on the print colors. See, that one's a little more vibrant in color than the other 2. So it's fun to go through and look at this stuff and see, you know, stuff that I know my grandpa was, you know, collecting cards back in the very beginning of collecting cards. That, like this Cleet Boyer's nice cards too, but I was kind of just pulling out Hall of Famers. But, you know, I know my grandpa wasn't digging out a 1920 something and be like, oh, look at the print on this. They're happy to get the card. But you can see on that how that is way out of focus. And then that one's nicely focused, even though we wrote Yankees on it. So, you know, it's just funny to see how people, you know, probably didn't even notice the difference. They were just happy to have that player or unhappy to have that player if it was somebody they didn't like. There's another Frank Thomas. It's not the Frank Thomas no name. Man, we got a lot of red in here. I think I've got one in every year of him. So whoever went through did not pull out the red show and dice. That's nice. Take 2 of those any day. And I know a lot of people don't like, you know, there's only certain people that collect vintage these days. But I feel like it comes back around every once in a while. Some big vintage card will come out of nowhere, and then everyone will get back into vintage for a little while. There's the Tigers. Vernon Law. It's a nice card, Vernon Law. There's 2 of the Tigers. This one is in much better focus than that one is, but take the Tigers team card. See what else we got here. Kansas City A's. Get the Kansas City A's out of there. And Hoyt Wilhelm. And Lou Burdett. I'm just taking that out for me. There's Hoyt Wilhelm. It's not too bad. And Lou Burdett. There's Lou Burdett. I mean, I've got a good stack of cards too to start with. I can start sleeving up. Smokey Burgess, Philadelphia Phillies. 2 Philadelphia Phillies cards in there. George Kell, multiple George Kells. Feels like it. Yep, 2 of them. So that's the thing that that surprised me about it, was that there were multiples in there. I just thought there was 1 of each when I originally started looking at this stuff. But then when I pulled out, I forget who it was that I took, and I was like, oh, there's 2 of those in there. And then I started looking at a bunch of them, and I was like, there's a bunch of them with 2 of them. Baltimore Orioles, just 1. Just 1. All right, I think this stack right here is going to be my last stack to go through. Maybe got a few more down there, but I mean, it's been fun, and it'll be fun to get them all sleeved up. And I bought 1,000 top loaders, so I can make sure I get everything in there. I may have to order some more now that I'm realizing quite how many extra are in here. But let's see. Another Rocky Bridges. I think we're about done with the Hall of Famers here. But I want you to be able to see all of them that are on here. Yeah, Bear, if you see anybody that you want, I'll send you over that. I'll get you that list somehow. And yeah, I don't see any more Hall of Famers to pull out of here or team cards. But I'll get you that list over the cards that I got, and you can let me know if you want any. If I've got duplicates, I'll send you over a duplicate or two. But yeah, let me see how many more old stuff. Oh, I just got like 2 more pages. We'll go through the last 2 pages. Why not? Bob Lemon. Bob Lemon can come out of there. Gotcha, Bob. There is 2 Bob Lemons in there. This one's got some print issues up here. And that one's got some rough corners, but let's see. There's Ozzy Virgil out of focus up there. And the last page that we've got, I don't see anybody on there. And then like somebody was asking me earlier about the 70s, 80s stuff. This is what I was talking about. Like there's Ozzy Virgil. Speak of the devil. Yeah, that he was definitely a Phillies fan. So this is all 86, 87 with a Steve Bedrosian mixed in. Phillies card, 87 Phillies. The Schmidt, all that. So yeah, there is some 80s and there's some 90s in here, and there's a few 70s and early 80s of stuff. But most of that is Philly stuff. So, all right, well, that's about all. I won't bore you guys too much longer, but I appreciate, especially you, Barry, I appreciate you guys sticking around and going through all this stuff. I am going to top load some of the stuff that we've already pulled out, and then I'm going to go through and start working on all this other stuff. I may pop on and do another video while I'm going through it all another day, but yeah. So let's see. So this is what we've got so far as far as stuff that we thought was pretty decent cards. So I feel like we've done all right so far. Right there. That's not too bad. All right. Well, I will talk to everybody later. Thank you guys for hanging out. Maybe we'll do it some other time. See ya.